Okay, happy Monday. Let's go over today's trades. Today was a great day to make money. I had a couple of my student group members. They made in the thousands, which did really well. A couple others that's combined with all their accounts, they made, oh, geez, a lot. I did really well myself today, so I'm going to go over a couple trades. But specifically, I was focusing on when I was talking to the group was trades to avoid, or at least opportunities that could knock you out. And I think we did okay today with losses. I did have one loss early on in the morning, which I recognized that I shouldn't have been in that trade, so I pulled out quickly. And so I lost about 350 bucks, and then I am traded 10 contracts. And so I once I recognized, I'm like, hey, this is not where I want to be at, then I yanked out of there. So with that, let's go over to the charts and kind of review today. And so it is still a live chart going on right now. So let's go ahead and make this all nice and pretty. So I'm going to primarily use the left chart, and let's just scoot back a little bit earlier in the daytime, okay? I'll show you the first trade I made, which I wasn't super excited about. It was this one right here. Okay, here it goes. At 508. So, oh, this guy right here. Yep, yep, this is the one. And so I let me go over let me go over I'm writing this down. It's trades to avoid and not taking every single trade because 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10 times I'd be right. Like this, the longest streak I've ever seen with this trade is 22 or 24. So it's in the low 20s of being consistently right. Boom, 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 boom. That doesn't happen all the time though. Most of the time, if you take 10 trades, you're gonna be wrong two, three out of those times. You just don't know which ones they are. And so I've been playing it where I've been just trying to trade four times in a row or even two trades in a row, go max contracts and get out, and then load up on two different accounts and then use those accounts and going back and forth that way. That way I can build up all of my accounts to make sure they're all trying to get pro level. If this one's not, then I'll focus on this guy, get it up there so I can make money across the board. And if one or two lose, then it's not that big a deal to me because it's okay, those accounts aren't going to work out, but the other ones I still can withdraw from. So that's why one reason I like prop firm accounts too. It's got multiple opportunities to make money with different accounts. But now I'm trying to narrow down instead of just taking every single trade up and down, trying to really focus on where my losses are usually and how to avoid them. Okay, so let me start with this first trade. This first one was here at 508. And one reason why I realized, besides, it did drop down to 529, but in between these two, it kind of bounced around. But I realized, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm pretty close to the top of the resistance line up here, and I didn't want to be close to that resistance line. That resistance line was just not a good place to be. And so, and plus, we were on pretty much the high, almost the high of the European session at that point, and that's never a place you want to be at. And so once I woke up and my brain was like, "Hey, it's 5:08. This isn't a good place to make a trade. Why are you still in it?" I pulled the plug before the big drop, and so happy about that. But I was like, I know better, so don't make that trade. Okay, so the sequence is going to be important here. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for is the sequence of when the blue crosses are in between the ribbons and the center lines. Okay, so this is kind of in between, so we're going to call this an in trade. And I'm looking also for about the third bar in is the entry point. So this is probably my first trade where I made money, and it got me in at 544, and it got me out at 545. It was a quick little trade, a quick little sequence of getting in and then making money and getting out. I got in at 62.25 and then made money here. Again, this is in between the center line and the ribbon. The next one I'm expecting is to be outside of the center line of the ribbon, which this is. And this popped up fairly quickly too. And so if I can expand this just a smidge, let's get you off auto and I can grab it. And so this one worked out as well. It's about the third bar, second, third bar in. I like this trade. Took it all day long. Okay. In my head, I'm now thinking, okay, so I had one in, we had one out. We should get one back inside of the sequence. Okay. And if it's not inside that sequence, then then you don't have to trade it. Uh, this one here was at 6:30. So again, we're talking about the opening bell. I didn't trade this one, but I know some people that did, and it actually made money with it too. So that was good. Uh, okay, next trade we're looking at is this one's out of the sequence, but it did place a sell here and then made money. Great place to make trade. Okay. So this was out. I'm looking for it in again. Um, and we didn't quite get the in again, but it was a sequence of like, okay, get out, out. I'll go two outs in a row, but I won't go the third one because I don't count the opening bell. That throws everything off. So here's one out, here's two outs, but if there's a third one outside of the center line and the ribbon, I won't take that third one, but I will take these two. Okay. The next trade is in. So again, inside of the center line and the ribbon right there. This one worked out great. Next one I'm expecting, it's okay if it's in. This one just popped in perfectly, so I was happy about that. I was okay with the in or the out, but again had within the first three bars. So all my little metrics worked out for this guy as well. And so yeah, I was on a roll. At this point, I think I hit six or seven trades in a row. Today was just a really good day, and I didn't look at the rest of the day from the time I stopped to until now. It's still live trading. But yeah, sequence after sequence after sequence made all those trades except for the very first trade when I was like, "Wake up! Don't trade this one." Um, but I'm hoping you can see that where I'm talking about where I want the blue cross to be in between and then outside of it. And so it's in and out. Okay. So in between of the center line and then the ribbon, that's the in. And then the next sequence should be outside. Now, if it falls back inside those two again, still going to take that trade. And if I have two outsides, I'll take this first one. The second one, it better be the third bar, but not the third one. If I get three outsides in a row, I'll sit that third one out. Okay. So let me kind of keep scrolling through here. So this was an inside one because it fell in between the center line and the ribbon. This was an outside one. I sat this one out. Um, and especially because it goes one, two, three, four, 5 bars later, like there's no way I can trade this one. I think it did work out, as I recall, but nonetheless, I sat it out. I didn't trade that one because I've lost before on that sequence, and so I was like, I'm not going to risk it. Uh, okay, so now we're back out again, and this sequence again, it was on top of the market here. It's another one I sat out that actually did work. It was on top of the resistance line. Passed on it. It did work, but there we go. So I'm looking for one to get back inside, and then so this was the inside one at 848. Now this guy did drop down low enough and got me in and made some money, so that was good. And then let me show you this trade. This trade right here is probably one of my most fun trades. Let me expand this out a little bit, okay? When you see this sequence, I like this sequence, okay? I like this sequence a lot, okay? Here we go. When you see this sequence of you got a the momentum is going up, okay? Going to the buy position, you get one red. I was lucky enough, did I caught the money, I got out, I was done, okay? But then you got a little blue bar. I'm like, okay, if the blue cross pops up and you don't have a second buy bar going that direction, it's good. Highly likely this can go down. So these two, I caught 500 bucks on this trade. I got 900 on this trade. I went all in on this guy, and it dropped down. One of my favorite sequences to trade. It happens once or twice a day. They're kind of fun, and I can make a lot of money doing this. Uh, yeah, that was 900 bucks on two accounts. I was trading two accounts at that time, so 1,800 dollars total. Okay, so anyways, back to this is back in, and then it did pop back up here, but again, I didn't trade this one because it was at 855. It did work out when I checked it, but I stopped. This is the last trade of the day. I traded till 9 o'clock in the morning, and then I called it good. So yeah, I had a bunch of sequences of wins right there. Made a lot of money on several different accounts. Just pushing them up there. Some of the counts were pro, some of the counts were trying to get to that pro level so I could actually cash in on them. And so, yeah, I had a lot of fun today, and everyone did pretty well. I'm going to keep focusing on trades to avoid. And, two trades that I purposely avoided, they still worked out, but I'm okay with it because those are two trades sequences in the past where I've lost money. And then looking back in history, uh, they didn't work out either. There's still some mushy little parts of when not to trade, and I'm focusing on that. But man, I'm working so hard on trying to find filters to avoid, and so getting there. Today was a great day, and so I hope you all made money as well, and I hope you trade with me again later. Pray hard for this stuff, and then parents always tell me make it a great day. See you next time.